Hey everybody, it's Allie from Pad Foot Palms, Poodles and Pals. So, please forgive the glare on my glasses. I wanted to touch on a post that was just made in one of the holistic groups that I'm in. And I wanted to make this live video, but I also wanted to have it recorded to then add to the YouTube channel because this is a pattern that I've been seeing for quite some time. It's very frustrating for other professionals in the field, and I feel like it's something that pet parents just don't know about. They just don't know any better. So anyway, I wanted to make this video and talk about it. So what I'm going to do is give people just a few minutes to join. Hey, looks like we've got some people joining. Hello. Good morning, everyone. If I could get somebody to drop me a comment down below so I know the comments are working. Drop me a comment. Okay. I see no comments. Okay. Hey! Denisha put a comment. She said, good morning. Good morning! Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me for this random live session because I'm freaking out. This is what I do. I see something, I freak out, I go live. So, okay, we got a couple people joining. Fantastic. I hope you guys are all having a great morning. I'm just going to dive right into it. So, again, forgive the glare because I'm going to read the post that I just posted. So this was in one of my holistic groups, and it's a little adorable toy poodle. And bless her heart, she had an allergic reaction to the lepto vaccine. Now, one of the reasons why I get so frustrated specifically with this vaccine is because vets are not educating people about the instances of reactions, what kind of reactions puppies can have, or adult dogs for that matter. And this is I want to say it's the second or the third version of this vaccine because they keep putting it out and they keep having tons of issues. So, you may or may not have seen a whole string of posts where people were posting, dogs who had to have sight amputation or limb amputation, right? If they did it on the back of the neck or in the thigh area or in the shoulder for the shot, because, to save the dog's life because the reaction was so terrible. Anyway, this puppy appears to have had a lot of vomiting, swollen red eyes, swollen face, and itching, which is very common. But where people go wrong is they don't take this level of side effect seriously because the next level up is when it starts to get really bad. So this person who admittedly said that they are a new pet parent, this is their first puppy. So again, they don't know any better. They're relying on their vet to provide them the information. Called the vet, and the vet, oh, good morning, Sarah. Hello. So she called the vet, and the vet said, oh yeah, just give him some Benadryl. Every time I see a post like this for any vaccine reaction, and I see that someone called into their vet instead of taking their dog in, it just hurts my heart because a reaction can escalate very quickly. Very quickly, their airways can swell up. I mean, it can become bad and serious very quickly. So it pains me that people are not provided with a pamphlet or a printout or something that says, hey, your puppy or your dog just got this shot. Here's what you need to look out for. If they start having reactions, bring them back immediately. And I'll tell you why vets don't give that documentation. It's because vaccine companies don't want them to. Because when you take your dog back in for a vaccine reaction and it's documented, that information goes back to the vaccine company and they have to address it, right? In some instances, they have to pay for the office visit for that dog or that puppy. If there's some kind of severe reaction that requires surgery, amputation, extended hospital stay, they may be liable for that. And it also completely throws off their statistics that they want to have about how the vaccine is doing. So, and to be perfectly clear, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not. What I don't like is I don't like that there are so many instances of dogs and puppies having reactions to these vaccines, and then vets are saying things like this. She said, I immediately called the vet and he said, just give her some Benadryl and watch over her. Okay, well, Benadryl has started putting xylitol in some of their products. Do you think the vet warned her about that? We don't know. Did the vet warn her that Benadryl may help with these symptoms, but if there are other symptoms, to hurry up and go to the emergency room because it could be an emergency? Or that the Benadryl may not be enough to help? I'm sure the conversation went exactly like she said. And they were like, oh, okay, it's a vaccine reaction. Yeah, just give them some Benadryl, they'll be fine. Until they're not fine. And I see just as many posts specifically regarding puppies who end up not being fine. More specifically, it tends to be toy breeds or very small puppies. So if you're a breeder, that's something that you need to keep in mind. When I was breeding toy breeds, I always kept them longer, and I told people, do not get the lepto shot. Just don't do it. You wait until that puppy is full grown, because unless you're in an area and a situation, and Dr. Judy Morgan recently posted a video about this, and I linked it here in the group. Unless you are in an environment and the situation where it is prevalent, right? If you're hiking every day with your dogs, if they're working breeds, right? So they're outdoors a lot. If you are near a stream or a creek bed or a river, or you see what I'm saying? Like if you are in the specific environments where you would be putting your dog at high risk, okay, I understand. Then have a conversation with your vet and say, hey, what do we think about this? Research the side effects. If you go and try to find the list of side effects to these vaccines, sometimes they're just as hard to find as they are if you're trying to research flea and tick meds, which I posted a video, it was probably like a year ago, where somebody had asked me, hey, can you help me find the list of side effects that are potential from this flea and tick med? It was an oral medication from the vet. And it took me over an hour to sift through the company's website to find the information. And even then, it was severely downplayed, right? So this is one of those things that frustrates me to no end, because this could be a potentially deadly situation, and there's really no reason. Let me see if she says how old the puppy is. She doesn't. Looking at the puppy, my guess would be maybe anywhere from 10 to 14 weeks. I mean, there's no reason for this puppy to have a lepto shot. There's no reason. You cannot give me a legitimate reason that this puppy would need to have a lepto shot. This puppy probably has minimal time outside. If it is outside, it's probably just in their backyard, right? Hey, Fran says, hi, Allie, it's 11 p.m. here in the Philippines. Hey, well, good evening. It's morning here. That's really cool. That's so cool. I love when you guys pop into the live sessions from other countries. I just think that's awesome. That's so cool. So, you know, this is something that I really want everyone to think about. If you have a puppy, if you have an adult dog, right? There's studies are starting to come out that are showing that titer testing is working phenomenal, right? It's where you run blood work and you check the immunity of your dog to see if they have a certain level of immunity to whatever the disease may be. And, you know, some of these vaccines are lasting 5, 7, 9 years. 9 years. Why are we vaccinating dogs and puppies every year? Why? A vaccine that lasts 9 years? What? The other thing that I want people to think about is when you have a child, they get kind of their core vaccines, right? Just like puppies do. And then how often do they get boosters? It's not every year. Certainly not every year for things that they've already been vaccinated for. Like maybe when they get older, right? There are some other vaccines that are for older kids, you know, HPV, things like that. But yeah, so why are we doing it to our pets? And keep in mind, their bodies are so much smaller than ours. So much smaller. The effect that these chemicals have on a body that is 10 pounds or 50 pounds is significantly different than a vaccine, right, on a 100-pound human, right? Or even a 100-pound dog for that matter, right? Because remember, they're all getting the same dose. There is no dosing for smaller dogs to larger dogs, right? It's all the same dose. So, hey, Rosalind. Finally caught your live. It's 11 p.m. Hey, we got 2 people from Singapore today. This is just a good time. That's awesome. I got people chiming in saying amen. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. Again, I'm not anti-vax. It's just one of those things that you've got to do your research and apply a little bit of common sense, right? I mean, obviously, we want our puppies to be protected. We don't want them to get parvo. We don't want them to get these other diseases, right? But, for example, I mean, I am desperately trying to find a new groomer because we recently moved, and some of these groomers are requiring a kennel cough vaccine every 6 months. Kennel cough is the equivalent of a doggy cold. Do you know what happens when you get a cold and you go to the doctor and they say, yep, you got that bug that's going around. You got that sore throat. Here you go. Take this over-the-counter stuff. Call me if you're not feeling better in a week, right? Because it's not something... Anyway. It's just one of those things that you really need to research. And it's one of the things that I feel like it's becoming more and more a topic that's in the forefront for breeders, which is also why I wanted to make this video. I have extensive conversations with puppy buyers about, okay, here are the vaccines to avoid. Here's what your puppy has had so far. Here's how they did. Perfect example. In my last litter of puppies, or the second to last that we had one puppy who had a very, very mild reaction. It was very mild. He was just more lethargic than the others. But he ended up getting, it lowered his immune system enough that he ended up getting a little bit of, a snotty nose. I immediately called the puppy parents and said, okay, here's what happened. And I explained it from start to finish. Okay, they had shots on, I think it was a Saturday. And then by Monday, right, this is way before go home day. By Monday, he was sneezing a little bit, and he had been lethargic, and I was like, okay, so, we've got some lethargy, we've got some sneezing, I've seen this before, this is going to turn into a little cold, I'm going to take him into the vet, but I just want to make you aware of what's happened, because this may be something that reoccurs the rest of his life, or if he has a more significant reaction next time, you may want to look at not doing any vaccines at all. And by making them aware of that, it's something that they could start looking into immediately. And I feel like there aren't enough breeders who are having that conversation very candidly with their puppy buyers. Hey, here's what happened. Here's what I saw. Here's what I'm predicting. Let's go ahead and take a look at it now. Let's go ahead and start that research process now. Let me give you some links so that you can go and look at, what Dr. Tobias, says about, no-sodes and vaccines and all this other stuff and titer testing, right? Let me give you those links. Let me tell you the process for a titer test. It doesn't have to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You can go and make an appointment for your dog to have blood taken, right? And they will spin it down, and then you can send it off to UC Davis yourself or a number of other universities. It doesn't have to be that one. So there are options, but I feel like not enough people are being made aware of those options, just like ovary-sparing spay and vasectomy. With all of the research that's been coming out about how we need to wait until dogs are older until they're either traditionally spayed or neutered, or that there is another option, why aren't vets talking about this? It's like every new puppy that's coming in, there should be a set conversation that vets are having with those pet parents. Hey, have you had a puppy before? Yes or no? Are you aware these are your options? You can do a traditional spay and neuter, but it's recommended that you wait until they're a little bit older. You can do an ovary-sparing spay and vasectomy, which means that you can have it done a little bit sooner if that's something that concerns you. But it's healthier long-term for your puppy. Here's why. Here's the details. Here's the research, most of which has been out since 2003, right? There's all these things. Why aren't we having these conversations with people? What is that $50 office visit getting you? Well, for this lady, it's getting her a phone call with her vet that says, oh yeah, it's a vaccine reaction, just have your puppy take some Benadryl. You would be surprised at how many people I have spoken to who have been told the exact same thing, and they didn't even give them a dosage. Oh yeah, just go get some Benadryl from the store. Have you seen how many Benadryl options there are? There's chewables, there's pills, there's liquid. Some of these options, they've started putting xylitol in. If you have, like this lady, a little toy poodle puppy who weighs, probably 2.5 pounds soaking wet, how much do you give? These are all legitimate questions that would be addressed in an office visit. If a puppy is having a reaction to a vaccine, the correct answer is, okay, please drop everything and bring your puppy in. That's the correct answer. That is the responsible answer. Now, I don't know if vets are being discouraged to have people come in. I don't know if people complain about having to come back in and be seen and pay an office visit again. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't speculate for that part because I don't know. I'll have to ask. But it wouldn't surprise me. So, okay. I know we had a couple of questions, so I'm going to scroll back up here. Is there a file on vaccines to avoid? That's Danielle's question. Hey, Danielle. Okay, so if you search the word vaccine in the Facebook group, in the search function, the little magnifying glass in the corner, it will show all of the posts that I've made and others have made about vaccines. There are quite a few where I go through and say, here's what to avoid, like 100%. Here's some good options. Here's how you space them out. I also link to some websites that are from veterinarians that talk more in depth about it, since I myself am not a vet. So my posts and, videos like this are kind of to get you started, and then you can take off from there with all of the work that those veterinarians have done. So, yeah. So just use the search function for the word vaccine or shots, so that'll bring it up too. Okay. Teresa said, Parvo is horrible, as we found out end of last year, Allie. Yeah. Teresa had a little puppy that had Parvo, but thankfully, everything turned out okay. But it can be very expensive. By the way, side note, if you don't know, if your puppy is vaccinated according to the schedule, right, which is every 3 to 4 weeks, if they do contract Parvo or any other disease for that matter, you can submit your vet bills to the vaccine company to be paid and compensated, and you will. It takes a while. They make it difficult on purpose, but you can do that. Okay, Kathy said, you're so right. Thank you for this. I'm going to look into this. Good. Yes, please do. Yeah, it's all about, let me make sure. Okay, Mary said, yeah, a vet visit doesn't even get me in the building. My vet's still with VCA in Pennsylvania. Yeah. And I know that this is a really frustrating point for people because they're being told that they can't even go in with their pets. And I'm probably not helping anybody by saying this, but I don't play that game. If it's not an emergency and they're taking them straight back, right, for surgery or something, I'm going in with my dog. I'm going to go in. So I'll wear a mask. I'll, abide by whatever the rules are, just one person, whatever. But, yeah, I'm going to have face-to-face time with the vet. I have been lax about this the last few times that I've taken dogs to the vet and found that they didn't do what I asked them to do. So when I make the appointment, I tell them, okay, now I've had some challenges in the past bringing my dogs in, and I say that I want XYZ checked, right? I want their patellas checked. I want, their heart checked. I want them to look in the ears, right? And then come to find out, I'm talking to the vet, right? Because you're in your car and they call you. And I'm like, okay, so how were the patellas? Oh, well, I don't know. We didn't look at that. Well, how about when you hand me a bill, I just go, oh, well, I didn't look at it. What, did you pay your bill? Oh, I didn't look at it. Was I supposed to look at it? Oh, you want to get paid. Oh, okay. Well, you should probably check everything that I asked you to check. How about that? You have to remember that they have a lot going on in there, right? Especially back in the back. I know that a lot of vets have started this process where they take your puppy back to the back to be weighed, and then they do the shots back there. No, 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 no. You can take them back to the back to be weighed, but then I want them brought back here. You come back here. I want to see the shot being given, right? I don't play that game. Not that they're not giving the shot. I just mean that I don't want my dog or my puppy that's going, to a buyer to be somebody's, a new tech's experiment, right? Like they've never given a shot before. My puppy's going to be the guinea pig. No. No, no, no. So just some food for thought, some things to think about. Remember, it is a service industry. You don't have to go to that vet. You can go to any number of other vets. I previously, before we moved, I had 3 vets. My reproductive vet, a cheap vet that's like your farm vet that was very close by, super cheap, open like 24/7. And then my regular vet that I went to for, various things. Okay, let me look at questions here. Brandy said, I even watched the Danes get cropped. Yes. Yeah, it's important. I mean, these are things that it used to be, you just drop off your dog, you do whatever, the vet handles things, right? You get them back, you're good to go. But I'm finding that the quality of care has gone down, and the number of patients that they see, right, the number in a day has gone up. So you get a shorter window with your animal actually seeing the vet, but prices have gone up. I'm sure the cost of their equipment has gone up, right? They're seeing more patients. Like it all levels out somewhere. So, okay, let me scroll back here. Okay, Veronica said, would you please cover what you think about lepto? I think it's terrible. I think the disease is terrible. I think the vaccine is terrible. I had a very long conversation about with my vet. The last time I took Sega in for her rabies, he first of all wanted to give me an earful for her not having it done at 4 months. I told him, I'm sorry you feel that way. And he proceeded to give me an earful. And I said, if it's that much of a problem for you, I can go somewhere else. I don't have to bring her back here. Which promptly shut him up very quickly. Here in Singapore, the vaccines are all lumped together. The lepto is considered absolutely necessary because I live in a home with a garden. So titer tests are ignored, irrelevant because lepto is grouped with the others in a single shot. Yeah, so I hate the multi-way shots. The 5-way, the 7-way, the 9-way, where it's just everything all in one, and you are just pounding your dog's immune system with everything at one time. It's especially problematic for puppies. So if you can, now I don't know about in Singapore if this is an option, but you can ask your vet, tell them that you would like to order the vaccines separately. So, for example, let's say your dog is due for distemper. I'm just making something up. You can call them ahead of time and say, hey, I'd like to just do distemper, not a multi-way shot, because my dog has a tendency to have reactions. If you put it like that, I hate to advocate lying, but if you put it like that, they will take you more seriously and they will get the vaccine, because they can order it. It's just a matter of ordering it. They don't want to order it because then they have a whole box because they order in bulk. Just offer to cover the cost of the shot. It's like $15. $15 for peace of mind is good in my book. So that gives you an option. Also, what about dosage for vaccines? When my puppy is a teeny tiny Chihuahua puppy. Again, this is one of those things that I personally have a huge issue with, because I don't feel like it's appropriate for your teeny tiny Chihuahua puppy to get the same dose as a 110-pound Great Dane. It doesn't make any sense. Now, as far as dosage goes, you can ask them to do a half dose. A lot of vets will push back on it. A lot of them will refuse to do it because specifically for things like rabies, it's problematic for them because they feel like it opens them up to liability because they didn't give a full vaccine, which is what they've been trained to do. But you can ask, and you can offer to sign a waiver or something like that. But those are really your only options. And you can call around too. You can call around to different vets. You may have to drive a little bit further to find one who's willing to accommodate you. But, it's the health of your dog, or in your case, your teeny tiny Chihuahua puppy, right? So it's definitely something to think about. So let's see here. Mary said they will give the vaccines on the patio of the office for me on our next visit. Great. See, compromise. Perfect. So you're right there. You get to see what's going on, right? That's great. I have 2 Poms that are 19 months old. The last time my 8-pound female was vaccinated on a Saturday, she limped for the entire remainder of the weekend. Yes. So, I am very much a pusher of vaccines need to be done in the morning, Monday through Thursday. I understand that can be very challenging for people's work schedule. I work too. I get it. If you can make it happen, even if it's the first appointment of the day, if you can make it happen, that's what I recommend. First appointment of the day, right in that window when they first open up, Monday through Thursday. That way, if your puppy has an issue or your dog has an issue, you've got all day for the symptoms to come up, right? So you can see it and either get them back into the vet and potentially avoid an emergency vet visit, which, right, on a Sunday or a Saturday, that might be your only option, which means it's going to be, 3 or 4 times more expensive than just taking them back into the vet. So yeah, keep that in mind. Vaccine visits Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, early in the morning, earliest you can get. Even if you have to push the date out a little bit to get that appointment, it'll give you a little bit of peace of mind. We are due in a week for distemper parvo lepto, and I'm freaking out. Personally, I wouldn't do it. The only vaccine that is required by law is rabies. And even in some states now, they're allowing for a titer test. You'll just need to research and find out what's accepted in your area or your country if you're watching from another country. But yeah. Oh, let me scroll down here. I love my vet. He's very straightforward with me and talks to me about my concerns and answers questions. That's fantastic. Been taking my cats to him for years and now my puppy. Their office is also an emergency vet. Great. So there's always a vet in the building. I had to use service with Kitty that unfortunately passed away after a terrible seizure. I was allowed to stay with her during the pandemic. Good. I'm glad. We are delaying neuter until 9 months, and Lepto is recommended for my area, but it won't be for a few more months before he gets it. Good. Just remember, the bigger they are, the older they are, right? They tend to do better with the vaccines. It's not 100% foolproof, but it's, you know, their body can handle it better than when they're tiny puppies. We are in protected wetlands and have a swamp-like conditions. Okay, so see, this is a perfect example of a dog who could potentially be at risk for lepto, right? Protected wetlands, swamp-like conditions. Not everybody lives in those conditions, right? All of the people up north in Wisconsin, right? Are you living in a swamp? No. So it's, anyway. Thank you for sharing. That's fantastic. Jaleesa said, hi, Allie, early Friday stream today? I haven't got one in a while. Yeah, somebody just made a post in another group and it had me going and I just wanted to talk to people. How do you feel about buying the distemper ourselves and giving it? Absolutely. Giving a shot is not difficult. Specifically for breeders, when it comes to puppies that you are selling, I always say take them to the vet, have them evaluated by a vet, have the vet do the shots, right? For legality's sake, because what will happen if you don't is that when they take that puppy to their vet's going to say, oh, okay, well, we don't accept breeders doing shots, so we're going to redo all of the shots, which is really hard on a puppy's body. As far as doing your own shots for your own dog, absolutely. I had a vet tech show me how to do it, you know, many, many years ago. It's not hard. The hardest part for me is getting over that anxiety of, you know, oh, I'm going to hurt my pet. Okay, shots are painful. Yes, we all agree on that. But sometimes, you know, it's something that you have to do. And I'm so grateful that I did, because it put me in a position where now if I need to give my dog you know, a calcium shot, right? If they're having low calcium due to, you know, labor issues, I can do that. If they need subcutaneous fluids, or if a puppy needs subcutaneous fluids, I can do that, right? So it does have its upsides as well. But yeah, there are some things that you can get through companies online and have it shipped directly to you. Just keep in mind that shots need to be refrigerated. So you'll want to arrange for delivery on a day that you know you can be there if you are not lucky enough to work from home, because it can't just sit out in the sun. It'll show up in a little cooler, one of those little styrofoam coolers. But yeah, absolutely. If you're comfortable, or if you have someone, maybe you have a nurse in your family, right? Or you are a nurse, right? You can do it yourself. So that's definitely something to consider. You're very welcome, Veronica. Okay, Crystal said, hi, Allie, can you explain what vaccines should be done yearly and what vaccines? Okay, so I don't want to miss anything. I have my recommendations in the Facebook group. If you do a search for vaccines or shots, it'll show up and tell you what it is that I recommend. I don't remember if I turned it into a file or not. Bear with me for just 1 second. I thought that I did, but you know, sometimes life gets crazy. And we're like, oh yeah, I did that. No, you didn't. You didn't do it. Okay, let me look here. Bear with me. By the way, if you are new and you haven't taken the time, okay, vaccines, do's and don'ts with dogs and cats. All right, hang on. Let me click on my file here and make sure what I have. It might just be talking about reactions. Hang on. If you have not taken the time to look at all of the files, please do so, because we have a ton of information in there. So, okay, cats, core vaccines. Okay, dogs. Okay, this goes through everything. This goes through everything. Okay, so the file is called Vaccines, Do's and Don'ts, Dogs/Cats. So it's all listed out there in the files. So yeah, definitely check that out. And the other thing you can do is you can take that document and print it out. That way you can take it with you to your vet, or make a list. Make yourself a list of what you want to do. Okay. Robin says, so yesterday I took all my dogs in just for them to tell me that my vet was in surgery all day and bring them back this morning. And now I think I want to wait until Tuesday since they're closed Monday for the holiday. Does that not affect the dogs by getting them at a later date? I'm assuming you're taking them in for vaccines. No, it doesn't affect them at all. The fact of the matter is, whatever vaccine you're getting, if they've had it before, they probably still have a viable level of immunity in their system. This is one of the things that I was talking about earlier, is these titer tests are showing that dogs are maintaining the immunity, you know, anywhere from 5 to 9 years after they get one shot. One shot, one disease, all that time. So no, a few days is not going to make a difference at all. So I wouldn't worry about it. Veronica got me here. She said, how do you feel about heartworm? So this is another one of those tricky ones, because there are a lot of medications that are on the market that are horrible. Again, I have my recommendations in the files. I also have posted some videos from other vets about what they recommend, which is actually in alignment with what I recommend. If you do a search in the group for heartworm, you'll be able to find the latest research that I posted, I think it was last year. In short, just to give you a brief synopsis, but please go read it because there's a lot of information there. In short, it has been shown that if you want to use a prescription level, right, from your vet, oral flea, tick, heartworm medication, and give it every 60 days or every 90 days, it is just as effective. And vets are now saying that you can give it only during the months that it pertains to your area. So for example, I live in the South, and during the summer, right, it can get crazy. The bugs go wild. They're like, woohoo, we're eating everybody, right? I have mosquito bites all over me. So, you know, it is recommended that we do it right over the summertime. But if you live in a place like Wisconsin, which I, you know, keep bringing up, then it may not be as much of an issue for you. So definitely check out the files. I have all of the stuff linked that I recommend. Dr. Judy Morgan and I both recommend that if you're going to use a flea tick heartworm product, that you use the Sentinel or the Sentinel Plus. It has the lowest incident of, hang on, sorry, I'm getting a message. It has the lowest incident of reactions, but I mean, dogs still do have reactions, right? It's a chemical, it's going in their body. Hang on. So, you definitely want to do your research, but yeah, check that out in the files. Do not, please, do not do any of those heartworm shots. What is it? Pro Heart 16, Pro Heart 17, Pro Heart 18, 19, 20. Listen, people, they keep coming out with new versions because they keep getting sued with the old versions. Like, that Pro Heart vaccine it just absolutely kills me. Like, what? You've had so many lawsuits. Why do you continue to make it? There's obviously something wrong. But that's just me. I'm not a vet. What do I know? Okay. My Pom, 6 years old, and Yorkie, 8 years old, are adopted. I believe they were not vaccinated aside from their puppy shots. Is tighter the best way? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just titer test them. Again, you can just have the vet draw the blood work, and then you can send the blood off to be tested. You can save money doing it that way, or you can just ask your vet, hey, this is what I want a titer test for. How much does it run? And sometimes for smaller dogs, you can get a fairly reasonable price. So, okay. Jaleesa said, I'm happy to report we finally settled on Steve's Real Food Raw for Toby, and he loves it. Fantastic. We went through 2 months, a 2-month period of extremely picky and not wanting to eat anything we bought him. Turns out he just wanted his food warmed in the microwave for 15 seconds. Yeah, sometimes dogs, when they switch to raw, or even home cooked for that matter, sometimes eating it cold is just, they just don't like it. If you just warm it up a little bit, they're good to go. May I consider this issue resolved? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm glad they're doing well. By the way, if you have a picky eater, please be sure to read the file on picky eaters, because you'd be surprised at how much you're doing to create a picky eater. So make sure you're not doing those things. Okay, let me see here. Allison said, hey Allison, do they need a blood test for heartworm before restarting the pills in summer? So it depends on who you talk to. A lot of vets will say yes. It just depends. It depends on the dog. Technically speaking, no. If you didn't have any, warm days, or, over winter, right, where mosquitoes could have proliferated, right, spawned in a day, right, unless you had like a hot week in the middle of winter, then they should be fine. You can always do a blood test, that's fine. But you'll just have to ask your vet what they require. They may or may not require it, so. Okay, great. Robin says not to jump off vaccine topic, which is totally fine. but the bark box has been really bad for all dogs, unfortunately. Yeah, and I just posted about whatever that duck chew is that they had in there. It caused some issues with some dogs, which is really unfortunate. So yeah, you gotta see, for me, things like bark box are not a good choice because there's too many variables of what they're going to include in the box, right? And I understand that they're trying to do well and do healthy and, right, include these things, but I looked at the ingredients on that one chew that was causing the problems, and while there was nothing that stood out to me about the ingredients themselves, it's still a highly processed chew. And if you look at it in comparison with other chews that are in that style, right, very highly processed, they just kind of look like glue or paste or gunk, right? They've got like this beigey, gooey, when your dog chews it, it's like sticky and, right? You have to understand that that is going into their system, right? So if you're looking for a subscription box that is all healthy chews, I highly recommend Farmhounds. They use local farmers. All of the processing for air drying or freeze drying is all done in the US, in whatever state those farmers are coming from. Like, we used to live in Georgia, and there were quite a few farms where they got their, I don't remember specifically the products, but some of their chews, right, came from those farms, and then they were processed there locally, which is great. So yeah, Farmhounds has a subscription box. It's very reasonably priced, and you don't have to worry about what they're sending you. So Allison said Real Dog Box is a good one. Yes, that's also a good one. Okay, yesterday I went to the vet and they told me goat milk is bad. My pup still came out healthy on her blood test. Why did they say goat milk is bad? They also gave me Simpirica Trio. I don't like that one. I tried researching it, and a lot of things popped up of it causing seizures. Yes, that's very common. There's actually an entire group dedicated to Simpirica, Bravecto, Revolution. It's got like a whole big long name. Don't join that group unless you want to read a lot of heartbreaking posts about people and their dogs having issues. So Valerie says, I'm a new puppy mom and I want to know what shots she should get every year. Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your new puppy. That's awesome. So if you do a search in the group for vaccines or shots, you'll be able to see all of the information that I've posted. And I also have my recommendations listed in the file section of the group. It's under vaccines, do's and don'ts, dogs/cats. So definitely go check that out, and that'll kind of get you started. But make sure you use that search function in the group, because you'll be able to find a lot of really great information that'll kind of get you started. So yeah, and Valerie, you better start posting pictures of your puppy, okay? Because I don't think I've seen your puppy, and that hurts my heart, okay? So you need to post pictures and say, hey, Allie, here's my puppy, so that I can be excited. Speaking of being excited about puppies, I'll tell you guys as like a little secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're going to pick up a puppy this weekend. More to come on that. So stay tuned. But don't tell anybody else in the group. They have to watch the video to know. So it's our secret. Us people who are in this group, right? High five. Secret time. But I'll be sure to post pictures and stuff. It looks like we'll be picking her up on Sunday. So pretty excited. Valerie said, what kind? She's a standard poodle puppy. Robin said, yay! I'm excited. Hey, Louisa's here. Hey. How's Simba doing? They couldn't tell me why goat milk is bad. In all fairness to your vet, they probably couldn't tell you why the food they recommend is good either. So this is one of those areas where hi Velocity. Do you wanna say hi to everybody? You wanna say hi? It's a Velocity. Hey. Are you being good? Are you a good girl? You are? Okay. Do you need to go out? Okay. Alright, well I'm gonna have to jump off of here because Velocity is currently in heat. So she's wearing, we call them her panties. So it's kind of an ordeal to take her outside, and then I have to stand here and watch and protect. I know! It's them yawning. They're so funny. Does somebody else want to come say hi? Sega? Kennedy? Velocity's like, hurry up, Mom! Okay. Alright, listen. Thank you so much for watching, okay? We'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm hoping to be able to do a live session again later today. So that'll... Okay, alright, everybody's yawning. I know, we're gonna go. Live session later today. It'll be probably about... I'm thinking around 4:30 Central Time. So we're gonna kick it off a little early tonight. You're very welcome, Mary. I hope you can come to the live session later today. This one was just kind of impromptu. So, yeah, so let's talk more later. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.